Hello, and welcome back to a fishy plant man video with me, Fishy Plant Man, as your host. Okay, I thought I would do a little bit of an update on the new plants. Not that they're doing anything, but I personally think they look just a little bit happier being inside, if nothing else. We have this one. I was given a name. I think the name is correct. I just can't think of it right now. It's not hard to find in the comments. It was a commenter that came up with a name. And yeah, there's basically only two people talking down in the comments, the commenter and me. So yeah, if you want to know the name, not hard to find it. So there's that. I'll look again myself and see if I can't remember the name. And then we've got this here jade. Forgive the fish food in the background. That filter needs a bit of weight to keep the sponges and everything down. It just, I don't know, all of a sudden it decided they want to float, and that's how I got to keep them down. So, back to the jade, the Golem jade, Shrexeer's jade, whatever name you want to give it, including its scientific name, which I haven't found yet. Real easy to look up with common names, but I just haven't. This one I didn't notice until after the original video. It looks like something took a bite out of it. Yeah, didn't even notice that in the last video. But other than that, the entire plant looks pretty happy. So happy, in fact, that I think it wants water. Now, I couldn't top off. It'll make me dizzy again. Anyway, I couldn't top off the fish tanks as we got a new meter today. Our smart meters have reached this area. And if you ask the guy, he'd probably say, oh no, there's not going to be any change. Blah, blah, blah. I've bled the lines. Everything's good. Yeah, you didn't see the cold water coming out of the kitchen sink. It cleared up, but I'm going to let the water run for a bit. Just like when I see them playing with the hydrants, flushing chemicals or something through. Yeah, I'm going to let the lines clear out a bit. I don't know, maybe a bit of dirt got into the line. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it just, got knocked loose as with all the vibrations of tightening and installing the new meter. I'm just going to give it some time before I do a water change. But this guy, he's going to get watered one way or another because he seems to want water. And then we've got the true cactus, as I'll call it, doing good. I'll spin it around here. You can see the babies down there. I'm not sure all of them are happy. They did get rained on. I tried to pour any excess water out of the cup. I suspect the seller had done it already. But still, the soil was very moist. And we'll see how the little plantlets do. You can see it looks like some moss or something growing, though. It got pretty wet. Pretty wet. And then there's this start. that I was told is, I guess, a little bit complicated, but it seems to be doing just fine. There's its little basket. It's pretty heavy, and it doesn't help that it needs water too. So, there's the update that's a bit more of an update. These guys you've just seen recently, but yeah, they seem to be a bit happier. Everybody but these little pups. A couple of them might have gotten too wet. Time will tell. Okay. Well, yeah, I mentioned that the fish is going to make me dizzy. There it is. Hi, guys. Yeah. It's... I suspect the water's still pretty good. I haven't tested this specific water in a couple of days, but yeah. It did test within parameters. I think that it can see something, because it doesn't do this when I'm not standing right here. So I suspect the shadows or something have got it riled. Some pretty tight circles, though. I might have to test the water again just to put my mind at ease. But I suspect when I walk away, the fish will settle down. So, let's go ahead and film the big fish tank, shall we? Okay. Hopefully this isn't too noisy. This tank's already been a couple of days without a water change, and it evaporates water out like crazy. It's going to get a little lower than I like, but I'd rather it be a little bit low than put too much of something in while it's loose in the pipes because of the new meter. So it'll wait a couple more days, and then I'll be very diligent for a while. But anyway, I can't really talk about the koi ponds. I think I have mentioned them, but they're not mine, so I can't talk too much. But I did end up thinking about fish care in general because of them. Yeah, like I said, I can't say too much. I'll be careful with my words here. Anyway, I was watching videos on bluegill, believe it or not, as an example. Yeah, I was watching videos on bluegill. These people have a pond where they're trying to grow, or were growing, record trophy bluegill. And yeah, something went wrong, and they had a complete die-off. And they treated it. Well, I got to thinking about it, and they use chemicals and these different things to treat it. Well, when you're treating a 5-acre pond, it makes sense. You dump a few $100s in chemicals, and it's better, if not cheaper, than trying to do a water change large enough to have an effect. Okay? In aquariums, small ponds, say a couple thousand gallons and under, water changes can do a whole lot. But when you need to change, a 500,000 gallons of water or something. You know, I don't know how much water's in a 5-acre pond that's, I don't know, like 10 feet deep at the deepest. But it's a lot of gallons. It's not feasible to change that much water. So they use chemicals to deal with the problem. Water changes might have done it, but I suspect a water change of that size would be spendy. Still, the problem they had, I suspect, could have been dealt with a simple water change if it was feasible. It's just not feasible when you're talking a pond that's like an acre or bigger. Apparently, this particular pond was 5 acres. Yeah. That's thousands of gallons, I'm sure. Well, yeah, it pretty much is. I'm sure. Of course it is. I've seen fish tanks in buildings that were like 3,000 gallons. You could dump an entire 3,000 gallons into these ponds and not even notice it. Like I say, when they get up to, you know, an acre plus. So there are multiple ways of dealing with a problem. Multiple ways of dealing with the problem. I've decided to use what was considered a mistake in their video. I've decided to use that mistake to my advantage. Kind of a one person's mistake could be another person's solution. But if you're going to try to learn, you know, taking care of your fish tank by what somebody's doing in a 5-acre pond, it can be done. I do believe I've done it. Yeah. I think I had the same problem as this large pond. Dealt with it completely differently, but I think the problem was the same, solved with 2 different solutions. Because I wasn't dealing with thousands and thousands of gallons of water, I did it one way. This person was dealing with 5 acres. They had to do it a little different. Hopefully it worked. But they do have to restock their ponds. They didn't get on it fast enough. They had a complete fish kill. So, after dealing with the fish kill, they've treated the ponds and probably at this point have restocked. I think I got on the problem definitely in time. I didn't lose any fish. Didn't use chemicals either. Like I said, it was feasible to do a water change. Well, a few water changes. I've solved a lot of problems with doing nothing more than making the water healthy again. Came out the other side. If I lose any fish, minimal. problems that can kill fish. Like this one that I think I identified after the fact killed 99 point, I don't know, 7% of the livestock in 5 acres. I wasn't doing anywhere near 5 acres, but got on top of it, solved the problem without losing a single fish. So, you can learn from others' mistakes, but if you're watching videos about bluegill and bass and think there's no information for your fish tank, maybe there is. But you gotta think about how you're gonna go about it. Alright, this video's getting long, so I'll let you go and talk to you next time.